Welcome, everyone. You are about to embark on a journey through the universe as you indulge in this extraordinary essence of enlightened, empowered, evolved. Let the show begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Luke Bryan Smith, and welcome to Enlightened, Empowered, Evolve, where we educate, motivate, and liberate you through enlightening dialogues, empowering music, and evolving content. I know everyone's doing well and everything is unfolding perfectly. At least that's how it is in my mind. And I'm excited again because I'm connecting with another amazing guest who is a neuro transformation therapy coach located in Sydney, Australia, by way of South Africa, right? Amazing. And a whole lot more. She specializes in simplifying complex PTSD, and we'll get into that. But without further ado, I introduce to you Kimberly Sibanda. How are you doing today, Kimberly?
I am well, thank you, Luke. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Yes. I want to say that I believe that time is one of our most precious assets. And for you to decide to spend some of your time in the history of your timeline here with me on Enlighten, Empowered, Evolve, I just want to just extend my sincerest gratitude to you, Kimberly. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
So, a lot of things stood out to me in the information that you sent me. But if you don't mind, and you let me know, elaborate on a bit of we'll get to your coaching, and I definitely want to because I want to kind of ramp up how it evolved. But can we talk a little bit about how you were diagnosed in the hospital and with bipolar type 1 and all that? How did that happen? I mean, yes, just give us a little insight on that and how you kind of got out of that.
Yeah, well, it's quite an interesting journey, actually. So, before that actually occurred, I had been on a healing journey for some time,
Right.
um, learning about trauma, learning about myself, learning about relationships and other people as well. And just when I thought that things were going good,
Right.
everything in my life kind of broke down.
Oh,
But this is the critical part for me, right? In learning about trauma and in particular complex trauma, I realized that one of the aspects I was missing in my healing journey was the spiritual piece. So, what happened during that time was I had a psychotic episode. Um, and it was a weird experience. I didn't understand what was going on. I just knew I wasn't feeling quite like myself in the weeks preceding that episode. And when things got really, really bad, I kind of had a moment, I believe, where I dissociated quite a lot from myself. And in that moment, I said a prayer, you know, and I prayed that I would be okay. I prayed that things would work out for me. And it was a transcendent moment in many ways because I kind of heard and understood that this was my healing. On the outside, it seemed like everything was breaking apart. But what was actually happening was all the false realities I had created in my life over time through trauma, through my own identity, through many different things,
right.
my past relationships, shame, those were all being brought forward so that I had the opportunity to look and confront them and
Mm,
see where I wanted to go in my life. Did I want to take the path that was going to continue me on a journey of destruction? Or
right.
did I want to take the path of enlightenment and getting to know myself better, getting to understand myself more and living out my true purpose?
Yes.
And during that time, I was actually told that this was now my life. I would be in and out of hospital for the rest of my life. And I'd be on medication for the rest of my life. There was no hope for me, basically, was the message I received.
Wow.
And it was a difficult period. It was difficult with a lot of pain, a lot of tears, but also in many ways, a lot of realizations. I realized how important having community and support were.
Mm,
I realized how important having belief in yourself is. And I realized a lot of the things that I needed to let go.
mm. Wow.
Um, during it's been about 4 years in well, it will be about 4 years in July. And that first year, I was in and out of hospital 5 times in the 1 year. And I haven't been back in the hospital since then, although I've had, multiple periods of difficulties.
Right.
Um, Before that, I was quite heavily addicted to weed, marijuana,
Mm,
drinking very heavily, smoking cigarettes, vaping, all of that. Since that point in time, I have been able to stop my marijuana use. And now I'm kind of on the journey of looking at the root cause of my own addictions.
amazing.
And I managed last year, at the beginning of the year, I managed to wean myself off of the medication. So, in
Mm,
a relatively short period of time, I've actually managed to accomplish a lot.
right.
And one of my greatest accomplishments, for myself personally, this is just a personal thing,
Yes.
is as a young child, I loved writing, always been a creative, loved just thinking of different stories and ideas and putting them down on paper.
Right.
But I lost that part of myself somewhere along the line.
Mm,
And there were many things, many endeavors that I started and never finished. But during the past 4 years, I managed to start writing a book and I managed to finish it as well. So
wow.
it was actually yeah, it was a moment of
Congratulations.
accomplishment for me. Yeah, and it didn't even have much to do with the fact that, it's out there or anything, but just the fact that I finished something that I
Yes.
started
Yes.
was amazing and mental. Yeah.
Yes, there's power in starting an endeavor, especially a lengthy endeavor like a book can be, and finishing it. That gives you a sense of, you know, self confidence and self empowerment. And what I'd like to say, and I'd
Mm,
like to hear you continue, but just to elaborate a bit and add a little something to it, it's just the reason why I wanted you to, and I'm pretty sure you know, but I'm just saying this for our listeners as well. The reason why I wanted you to share this because there's many people out there that have been through or are going through or know someone that's going through something similar, and just for you to kind of lay something out like that and show that how powerful you are for one, but how powerful we can be in
mm,
healing ourselves, and that's amazing, especially when we find some purpose or we look within and start um, you know, discovering who we are, knowing ourselves,
mm,
like know thyself, like Marcus Aurelius said. But that is just amazing. You're just a demonstration. You're just showing us how powerful we can be when we put our mind and our hearts and our soul into healing. And that's exactly what you're doing. Not saying it does. Not saying it's easy or it doesn't take help or it doesn't take, whatever, multiple things. The journey is not just a straight, easy path to anything worthwhile, really, is what I've learned in life. And
mm.
yes, so this is just giving you, from my perspective, just contrast. So it'll make you even more powerful of a tool, if I might say, to help other people because you have that authentic that journey yourself, you know? And
100%. And
yes,
I'd just like to add as well, I am so grateful for my journey because one of the most important lessons I learned on my journey was I always felt alone. I
right.
felt like I had to do things on myself because people didn't understand me and people didn't believe in me and all of these things. And there came a point in time where I started meeting new people. I started exposing myself to uh, different communities. And I came to realize there are actually so many people who have accomplished amazing things. There are people who are much further along the journey than me. And
But
in the
don't
same
compare.
instance,
I had to say that. Don't ever compare
I'm
your
not
journey to anyone else's.
absolutely not. But I would like to just elaborate on this fact is
Okay.
that sometimes, especially people with mental health issues, they do feel like they're kind of going at this alone.
Right.
Like they're the only ones who feel this way, who believe this way, or who think this way.
Right.
And that's what I thought until I started speaking to other people and realizing that, wow, there are people who have accomplished the things that I want to accomplish and are in
Mhm.
places that I want to be.
Right.
And it's not impossible
Right.
after all. And in
Yes.
saying that, what I really like to point out is Les Brown's talk on it's possible.
Right.
To have the belief that it's possible and to have people around you who can show you that it's possible makes an immense difference.
Yes. Now that right there,
Mm,
how you, in my perspective, um, when I said don't ever compare yourself, I mean beat yourself up and say why aren't I where they are? But the way that you're using it is to encourage you, and to see that it
mm,
can be done, and that is a great way to do it. But to let you know, because
mm,
you can accomplish whatever anybody else has accomplished and more. So just always know that
mm,
we can,
100%.
whatever our
Mm,
intentions are, whatever, we just follow that and especially if it's something, positive and it's not hurting anyone else and it's something, to elevate us and other people. Yes, absolutely. You can
mm,
accomplish that and you will, and you are,
mm,
and
mm, mm.
that's amazing. So elaborate a little bit more on this book. I know I don't want you to uh, give away all the secrets, but what is it? What is the main focus of the book? Sort of just give us maybe a one sentence answer. Um, and when will it be published and out? Approximately. I know you don't know the exact date, but around when? First quarter, second quarter, somewhere in summer. Yeah.
Well, that's funny because I think we actually have different seasons because of the
Oh
time
yes.
zone.
Oh
So
yes.
your
Well, you
summer
can say
would
the
be
summer here in Australia, or the yeah.
yeah. But no, so the title of the book is called A Celebration of Life, aka 51 Reasons to Keep Living When All You Want to Do Is Die.
Wow.
And I
Powerful.
wrote that kind of, yeah, when I was feeling exactly like that. I was looking for reasons to live after so much had been destroyed and sort of broken down. I don't want to use the word destroyed. I want to say broken down. The
Right.
falsehoods of my life had been broken down. And I felt broken in that moment. But I was like, this can't be it. No, this can't be it. There has to be reasons. And I needed to find that reason within myself. So I looked at my history, I looked at my past, and I looked at moments that had pulled me through and what it was in those moments that pulled me through. So the story itself is a journey of everything that I experienced, particularly within that first year and a half after my psychosis,
Mm,
um, and interspersed between the journey are the lessons that I learned. And these lessons are kind of repeated lessons, but there was something about that period where the repeated lessons were kind of embedded, that will, that drive to live. So for a very long time, I had suffered with mental illness and depression and not wanting to be alive, not having a
mm.
reason or a purpose to live. And in a second, it changed. In the second where all the falsehoods were broken down, I realized this is the worst I have ever been. And this is the most authentic moment of me wanting to be alive, of
Right.
me saying, no, this is not my life, that there has to be more. And I'm going to find that more.
What would you say caused that shift? Or is there a particular single circumstance or thing or tool that helped you get through that? I know it must have
Mm,
been a multitude, but does something stand out? Because I also, yeah,
mm.
I'll ask you something else after this. But yes, what?
It definitely was grace and surrender.
Right.
It
Okay.
was surrendering to the pain. Uh, I feel a lot of the time in society, we tend to want to gravitate more towards the positive, which I love because I'm a very positive person. I enjoy uplifting people, but there are moments where we are in intense pain,
Right.
and there might not be anything that we can do in that moment except accepting the pain that we're in.
Yes. Let me add to that too. Yeah. Accept
Mm,
it and observe it because it's
mm,
real. It's what you're feeling, and life is about contrast. So no, you are absolutely right. There is no way that we can be positive 100% of the time, but we can
mhm,
develop the mental fortitude, the tools to navigate through those hard moments
mhm,
and to, like you said, accept it. It is what it is. And that and
mhm.
that reminds me of a saying that I came across, and it goes something like, if it can be fixed, why are you complaining? If it can't be fixed, why are you complaining? So basically accept it for what it is. And
For what it is, and
yeah,
that's powerful.
right,
That's very powerful. Yeah.
right,
Yeah, both ways. Don't complain because it is what it is.
right.
And I think that's where a lot of our power comes from, because if you can accept a moment, I can fix this, then
Mm,
there's something that you can do about it.
right,
Or I can't fix this, right?
right,
And there's an element to that as well, because in that moment of surrender for me, and the reason why I added grace as an additional aspect to it, was I felt I couldn't fix it.
hmm,
I surrendered to the pain,
right,
and I prayed to my own higher power to guide me through
mm,
it. And I just kept that hope and belief that good things were on the other side of this pain. Something like this could not be it. And that actually was the reality. I couldn't see the end of the tunnel. I couldn't see why this was happening. But that hope gave me the strength and perseverance, as you said, to keep moving forward.
right,
And I was blessed enough that in my past, I've always been an avid reader and a listener to different motivational speakers and all of this. So I love Les Brown. I love Eckhart Tolle on the spiritual side, and
yes,
I was blessed enough to grow up Christian,
right,
so I had that sort of spiritual basis, which made a
right.
lot of
Foundation. Yes,
yeah, foundation, 100%.
right,
And that foundation for me made a lot of difference in the journey
right.
because, as I said, through my traumas, I had actually lost connection.
Mm, wow.
And I was kind of brought full circle around where I was like, you lost that connection to your spirit self, your inner self, your authentic self. And this may be difficult for some people because religion has become a bit of a contentious subject in modern days, right?
Right, right.
So, my belief is that that element, there's a greater power that works through all of us.
Mm,
And it doesn't have to have a name, right? But there are moments that I'm sure that every person can point to in their lives where they felt something. Hopefully, not 100%, but hopefully there's that moment or moments where people can point to their life where they felt something inside of themselves, maybe something that has no words.
mm,
And
mm.
that feeling is that universal element or power that works through each and every one of us.
Absolutely. I totally agree and resonate exactly with how you just said it and what you just said. Exactly.
Mhm,
That's amazing.
mhm.
And it's just amazing that you you were doing what I like to call self-talk. And that's very powerful. The way we talk to ourselves, we're talking to God, to the universe, to, our higher selves. And it's just amazing. You elevated and motivated yourself out of certain things. And that's a very powerful tool to let people know that even if you are physically alone, you can be, you're not really alone. you know?
Mm,
We all have this
mm,
power, like you said, so we're never really alone. So you can
mm,
talk yourself out of a slump, if you will. So that's amazing.
mm. 100%. And part of the reason, I guess, why I like that is because with complex trauma, which I specialize in, a lot of people do find that there's this relational element. A lot of people who experience complex trauma sometimes lose their faith in human relationships because
Mhm.
they've been let down so many times or in such tragic ways
Right,
that it's difficult to build that trust again, you know? And I believe to be alone as a human being is one of the most disempowering states that you can be. But to understand that truly you're never alone, if you understand that there's a universal connectedness between all of us, right? So even if you're with a cat or a dog, as some people prefer to be, or even if you're reading a book or watching a movie and something about that, something about what's happening around you, regardless of whether you're with people or not with people, resonates within you and inspires you to feel good, inspires you to smile, even, a simple smile
right,
that can make all the difference to your
right,
life.
right. That's wow. Very well orchestrated and very, I can feel that. Not just hear it, but I can feel exactly what you just said, the energy of,
Mm,
your passion in regard to what you're saying right now. You're very passionate about it, and that comes through, and that's amazing. That's not to get off the subject, but that's what I love about engaging in these dialogues on this platform is that the amazing energy that I have been fortunate enough to feel and witness coming from, people that I'm meeting from all around the world. And I know that bleeds over into other people that are the people that are watching and or listening, because yes, that this is what I'm here for. This is therapy for me as well, being a host of
mm,
this podcast and highlighting you know, the spirituality and just self-empowerment and self-improvement and just, yes, it's all, I like to say that this podcast is spiritually based, universal spiritually based, and just anything that comes from there where people are empowering themselves in some way. I mean, even it can
mm,
go as far as medically, it can go as far as financially, empowering in
mm,
some way. It can be financial literacy, but as long as you're uplifting, no gimmicks, no trying to take advantage of people, but uplifting humanity as well as yourself in some way. That's what I like to engage in, the type of conversations, and that's what I prefer to highlight and to show and get this out there. And that's my intentions. And
mm.
thank you very much.
100%. And I
Yeah,
was going through some of your previous guests, what they've spoken about, what they've said, and I was like, wow, these conversations are amazing. It's
amazing.
amazing to me that
Yes,
people are talking about this so openly and so freely, and everyone has different perspectives. And as you
right,
said earlier, everyone has their own journey that
right,
they're walking on. And
right.
that's the exciting part for me, is that we're all together in this space, in this time, all walking our own journeys, but in a sense also all connecting and kind of weaving together the stories of our lives to find the commonalities, to uplift and inspire and help each other to continue walking forward. And I think that's amazing. And I think what you do is amazing as well. So
Thank you. Thank you
yeah.
very much. Yes, the more I become more aware in my consciousness um, is elevated, I would say. I'm just trying to put some context to it, but the more further along I get in my journey, I realize that when I'm observing people and their stories, there's no right or wrong. There's just simply what resonates with me and what doesn't.
Mm,
So
mhm,
even if I have someone on the podcast that I don't necessarily agree with everything that they say, it doesn't mean that they're wrong, because it just means that that doesn't connect with me. at that time. Just like
Mm, mm,
there's a quote by Bruce Lee, and excuse me, I might not be saying it exactly right, but he says, absorb what is useful, what you feel is useful, and discard what is not. Simple as that,
mm.
you know? So just because I
Yeah.
listen to a certain speaker or something and he says something, oh, I don't believe that. I'm not going to discard the whole speaker and say I'll never follow him again. No, just that particular thing I might not agree with. Then that's fine. But what is the value I'm getting from this? That's what I look
Mm,
at, the
mm,
overall value, you know? Now,
mm,
if I'm
mm,
listening to a
mm,
person and I'm getting no value at all, or I feel like I'm not, then that's a different story. But I haven't really drawn that into my experience as of lately. So,
mm,
there's something
mm.
that I learned from everyone that I've had on this podcast, you know,
Yeah,
from their own
yeah. And
unique
I think,
perspectives. I want to hear different perspectives that are different, especially that are different from mine. You know, on the same type of frequency, but different perspectives. And
yeah,
we and when I say this
100%.
same frequency, you understand what I mean by that. It's like we are on
Mm.
this, journey of knowing ourselves and elevating ourselves and reaching towards our higher selves. We're on a similar frequency, you know?
100%. And you said something interesting. I think once you reach a certain frequency, a certain consciousness, you start to realize that every moment, every person that you do speak to, there's an element of learning from that, even if it's small. And even if you
Right,
can identify that small bit of what you're learning from that interaction,
right.
it's amazing and can transform your life in amazing ways. One of the things that I've really enjoyed is shadow work, right? And looking at
Mm,
those people that I tend to reject or oppose, or, something about their energy or frequency doesn't align with me.
right.
What I've come into the practice of doing is, can I see an element of what they have inside myself? Right? In my own
Yes.
behaviors, or maybe in my own thinking. And a lot of the times, though I may not agree, though I may, prefer, high vibrational people, positive environments, and everything like that, I can
Absolutely.
also pick up on areas where I have behaved the same or thought the same,
Yeah.
maybe in a different way, maybe in a, slightly less or slightly more way. But
Mhm.
there's so many commonalities between us as human beings that we sometimes miss when we other another person.
Right. Especially if it triggers us in a certain way, then that means there's something that it's connecting with within us that it may be unresolved. We may be covering up.
Mhm,
We may be good at, but yes, we can learn from those that we feel aren't really on that frequency. We can still observe and learn. So that is amazing that
mm,
you highlight that. It's not just saying, I'm on this frequency, get away from me. It's like, no, I'm going to go ahead and observe this. I might not purposely put myself in that place, but
mm,
if it crosses my path, I'm going to observe and I'm not going to judge it. And okay, see, okay, and absorb what I can absorb, learn, and learn what I can learn and just simply continue flowing like water, you know, and
mm,
that's amazing. So before we conclude this segment, how can people audibly, I want you to tell us for especially just for our listeners, how can people find
mm,
you to seek your
mhm,
services, your expertise, ask you some questions, whatever? How can they?
mm. So basically, I'm a trauma informed life coach.
Okay.
I focus on
Focus, focus, focus.
um, hocus pocus. But anyways, I focus on complex
Okay. You
PTSD and simplifying it,
okay.
right? You can find me on social media through Facebook, through Instagram. My name is Kimberly Sibanda. Feel free to reach out to me. I can help you work through your different traumas. I can help you release the past and come to a place of acceptance and willingness to move on to your future.
Wow, that sounds absolutely amazing. And I am certain that there are a multitude of people that can relate, that can resonate with what you just said. And yeah, up until now, they didn't know where to go. But now they do. So thank you for bringing your story, your energy, your value to this platform. I appreciate you very much. Yes. And
Yeah.
Kimberly, I'm going to go ahead and spell this out just in case. Um, so Kimberly on those social media platforms is Kimberley. That's Kimberly. And last name Sibanda. And I will also, as I always say, so my repeat listeners know what I'm about to say. I'm going to have these links also in the description of this segment as well, so that when you read the description, you can go down and click on those links and get right, yes, to Kimberly. So amazing. So before we go, do you have any last thoughts, any last quotes, any last ideas, things that are coming up, anything you would like to share? Yes.
The main thing that I would like to share is that whatever you're going through, I want you to remember that there is, in fact, hope for you. And there is a way out of the pain that you are in right now. So keep holding on and things will get better.
Yes. I love that. I love that. Yes, because we've all been through or are going through something that seems like it's impossible. And you are just affirming and just showing us um, that it is possible to climb out of the depths of what we believe at that time is hell. So
Mhm.
amazing. Thank you for continuing to do what you're doing and for deciding to take, some of your harshest times in life and turning it into a tool for growth and strength and helping others. I think that's amazing, and I believe that's what we're all here to do, to uplift and help each other in some way, in different perspectives and different ways. It can be about the same thing, but when you hear it in different perspectives, it strengthens it, it reminds you, and it's almost like taking a shower. You need to take one every day, not just once a week. So amazing. Thank you very much,
Fantastic.
Kimberly. Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, yes. And thank you everyone for watching. Be sure to hit that Enlightened Empowered Evolve website as well. That's 333empower.com, and hit the subscribe button, the like button on whatever platform you're watching this on. Leave some comments, questions, help the platform grow, share these amazing messages. Thank you very much. I appreciate everyone. Enlightened Empowered Evolve. Love and appreciation. See you soon.